Hello, and thank you for joining me again. It's been a while. So today I want to talk about Bitcoin. So recently, a man has gone viral online after he announced that he lost password to his Bitcoin. He lost password to his Bitcoin, which he had on a crypto on a flash drive. And you know how this thing works. Bitcoin actually have different ways of storing it. You can actually store it on an online platform where they sell Bitcoin. You can just buy and keep it there, or you can store it on a blockchain online somewhere. We have different websites where you can store your Bitcoin, and you can also have it hard. Store it in a hard device on a small pen drive where you can have it very safe and keep it where you want. So it's actually the best method of storing it. It's actually the most secure method of storing Bitcoin, storing it in the flash drive. But it is also very dangerous because if you forget the password to it, if you forget how to get access to it, it will automatically encrypt itself, shut down, and you will lose the whole Bitcoin in it. So this happened to someone recently, which is Stefan Thomas. It's not recently, actually. It's been a while this has happened, and he has been trying to access it now for some years. And the way it is designed, it gives you only 10 chances to try, to get the password right. So after you try for the 10th time and you don't get the password right, you lose your Bitcoin totally. So this has happened to the man. The man said he had about 7,200 Bitcoin stored in there. And you might be wondering, how is that possible that he has that? But it can actually happen because there was a time when Bitcoin was not expensive. I mean, a lot of people were smart then to get into it at the point. There's also someone also that also lost his own. His own was around 7,500 Bitcoin that he had. And that was when Bitcoin was very cheap. When Bitcoin came out, people didn't actually trust it was actually something that was worthwhile. People didn't understand it, so a lot of people didn't buy it or they didn't invest in it. So, but those that tried then just threw in a little bit of money there, and they got a lot of quantity. So, right now, currently, as I'm recording now, he hit $40,000. And as at today now, we're still hovering around 35 due to some fierce market situations this past week. So it's around 35 towards 40 again. So that's a huge amount of money. So what the man lost was around $220 million, estimated, of course. As the price continues to go up and down, it hit 240 million and it drops back again. So, but that's a lot of money. A lot of money that the man just lost. But the main lesson here is the fact that if you have Bitcoin and you actually decide to put it in a pen drive, then you have to be very careful about it. You have to have a way of keeping the password, and usually not advised to save the password on your phone or to type it out or to write it somewhere. Usually not advised to do that, because if someone else gets access to that password, they can access it. But at the end of the day, that is still the best way to keep your password. That is, if you don't have a centralized password that you use for a lot of your things, you still have to just trust somebody. You just have to trust the system. You just have to write it down and store it somewhere and hope and believe that nobody's going to have access to it. But for me personally, I don't actually like the use of flash drive or having a hard storage of your Bitcoin. I don't like it, and it's because of the fact that it restricts your movement, because you have to be very careful all the time. If you want to travel, you have to be thinking about it. If you have an issue, maybe fire in your house or flooding, or you just anything that you just be worried about it, because it's a physical stuff that you have to worry about, and you also be worried about losing it, or maybe a kid plays with it, your kid plays with it, and somehow, some way, someone gets access to it, and you lose, access to it and things like that. So I prefer to have it online. But then when you have it online also, you have to also be careful, because, online snoopers or hackers can get access to your email or anything and then decide to reset your password. And that is why when you have it online, the way I like to do it is to use a two-factor authentication. And when you use two-factor authentication, it's either you are using a different thing, either you're using your mobile number or you're using other things like that. So you can use any of those to secure the account where you're using it. And one of the place I think is safest to store Bitcoin is actually on blockchain, blockchain.org or blockchain.info. Of course, there are a lot of sites where you can keep your Bitcoin, where you can buy it and actually just keep it. If you're in Nigeria, you can make use of Luno, and but I don't I use Luno when you want to like trade it, sell it, or buy it. But when you want to store it and leave it for a long period of time, I think it's advisable to use blockchain. Just go to blockchain and then save it there, and then you now make use of. There's a password that you can like a recovery code that you can actually activate on your system on the website. When you go to your account, activate the recovery code, get out that code, and then store the code somewhere else. Write it out if you have to write it out, print it, or you have to store it in your email. But it's not advisable to store it in your email. But you can of course store it if you want, because so many times we get too scared of storing things that nothing will actually happen to it, even where we are scared of storing it. So, but the important thing is to keep it very safe. So just in case you forget your password, that is the essence of it. Now, what happened to this guy is that he forgot his password. And we know these days of online, a lot of things are online now. So we have a lot of accounts online. So, and for that reason, we have a lot of passwords. This affects me personally. A lot of times I forget the password I use for a particular account. I have to recover it. Try to do a recovery, or forgot password and then reset it again. So a lot of things that we are using online now, we have a lot of passwords. So it's very easy for you to forget your password. But if you have a way of actually storing your password somewhere, locking it, writing it down, things like that, you can write it in an encrypted way, which is only you understand what you're actually trying to write there. But also it's also kind of tricky, because sometimes also you might forget why you wrote what you wrote. But at the end of the day, it's just about being very careful with your password. If you have to write it out, write it out. If you have to store it somewhere, online, store it. You can disguise it as something else, but just store it somewhere that you know that whatever happens, you can access it. Whether you travel to Germany or you travel to Uganda, anywhere you travel to, you can access it. That is the way I like it, so that I can access my Bitcoin from anywhere around the world, get access to it, sell it, buy it if you need cash, and if you need cash, you sell it and get the cash right away and things like that. But if you have a cold storage, it's actually safest. It's actually the safest and it's the best, but it's also very, very risky. What happened to Stephen Thomas can happen to you, but I hope it doesn't happen to you. So decide on what to use or how to store your Bitcoin. But I prefer to store it online, have a recovery code, activate two-factor authentication, and then make sure you don't forget your password. So for me, that is it. So that's what I have to say in this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.